Hey everybody, welcome back. As you guys saw in the last video, we assembled the ported 394 that I've had in a box for 2 or 3 years. And it started and ran easily, but after that it started to fade away and it had all kinds of runnability issues until the point it wouldn't run anymore. Today's video, let's dissect this thing, let's troubleshoot it, and let's figure out what's wrong with it based on what we do know. I hope this will help some of you guys with your saws before you get frustrated and throw the saw away. Sometimes the simplest answer is the correct one. So stay tuned. Let's troubleshoot this 394 XP.
She cuts, eh?
So in the last video, we did the final assembly. I primed it 3-4 times in the shop, and then this thing fired right away. I was like, excellent. First thing, on a new build, if it doesn't start in like 5 pulls, I usually assume I got some kind of an issue, whether it be ignition, carburetor, an air leak, you know, 5-6 pulls somewhere in there from dry. Usually a fresh build will start like that. If it doesn't, I'm usually like, is this going to be one of those saws? Now, if you work on new saws, you'll probably never run into things like that. But if you're like me and you build whatever you can scrounge up or donations from you guys out there, I like to build saws that are neglected, forgotten, thrown away. I've always been that way. It's just how I roll. So this saw started beautifully. I let it warm up because, of course, it's a brand new build, new bearings, new piston, cylinder's been ported, all that kind of stuff. I like to take it easy on them, but this saw idled fine. And when I went to give it throttle, right away I noticed it was kind of boggy, and then it wouldn't pull RPM. Let's try this thing today. It's stone cold. I haven't fired it in about 3 or 4 days. Let's see if this thing even starts again and go from there. I don't know what's wrong with this saw, but let's troubleshoot it and see what it's doing today. First thing, how does it start? Okay, of course, 394, if you've never started one of these, pull it over like you mean it. Okay, full choke. 1, 2, 3. I didn't get the choke fast enough, but it started. Now, I'm a little confused here. This saw didn't run last time I tried to start it. It had no spark, apparently, is what I was thinking. Now it starts. So now I'm a little bit concerned. Do we have an issue? Do we not? Okay, I want you guys to hear that. You see that? It ran good until it didn't. Now watch, if I give it gentle throttle and kind of let it go, it'll rev up and hit some RPM. If I stab the throttle, it bogs and wants to die. Okay, really watch what this saw's doing, and then let's discuss what it's doing, and I'll let you guys know what my brain, or where my brain is going. I kind of like when I have problems with saws. I know that sounds silly. Those of you out there that have been here forever know I'm kind of a silly guy. I don't take builds, you know, from random people. I take the odd build from buddies. I pretty much just build whatever junk I got in my shop. That works for me. Number one, my timing and my scheduling doesn't allow me to, do a whole bunch of moonlighting. And number two, and I think this is the most important part, as a YouTube creator, I can do whatever I want. I'm not strapped to the bench doing saws. I can do whatever I want, whenever I want, which just keeps the content flowing. So anyways, friends, I'm just rambling on here today. Okay, watch this thing. I'll start it. When I gently give it throttle, it'll kind of want to go. When I stab the throttle, it bogs. Now notice it ran fine right at the beginning. We're going to talk about that. Really watch how this thing's running. Okay, so makes you guys wonder. I'm just going to bring you guys right in. We're running and gunning today. What's this saw doing? Oh, and friends, stay tuned. That's the steel. We're going to make a pipe for this thing, but let's move this thing over. How you guys doing? Friends, my new life, right? Can you hear in the background? My daughter's playing. My new life. It's incredible. It's good to be me. Couple buddy that I grew up with at high school, he's a year older than me. He just had his first kid. I'm like super excited for him. And another guy that I work with he just turned 40, and he's having his first son anytime. Never too late, friends. So if you're thinking about it, I did it, and I wouldn't go back. I love having a family. Number two, friends, as you guys know, I've moved up the ladder at work over the last couple of years, just through, hard work and all that kind of stuff, but just, opportunity knocked. And when you get an opportunity in life, and I won't flap on much to you guys, but when you get an opportunity in life, it's really easy to say, no, I don't want to do that. To me, it was like, you know what? Why not? I'll move up at work. What's the worst thing that can happen? If I can't do it, well, I'm still a really good tin basher. And if I can do it, just another challenge in life. So that's how I look at YouTube, friends. Being a YouTuber is not an easy gig. Those of you out there that make content know it's you have to be disciplined. And I just turn the camera on because I want to, and that's what does it for me. But funny story, friends, and again, I won't flop on for too long. Yesterday, for the first time in my life, I found myself at a golf course. And now I know a lot of people golf. I didn't golf yesterday, friends. I went to a dinner after a golf tournament. But friends, I'm so blue collar that I was more interested in the guy that grew the grass than the actual game that was being played on the grass. So anyways, interesting. Never been to like a private golf course. So anyways, that's just me. Okay, just flopping here. Okay, so what did this saw do right away? Well, it a little bit hard to start cold, like 4 pulls, I think, till it fired. Not horrible though, but I like my saws to start, right now. It revved up when it was cold, but as it got warm, notice that, okay? When I gave it gentle throttle, it revved up. So first things first. Let's do the simple things, okay, friends? Always start simple. Okay, let's take the top cover off. If you have a saw that's doing this, okay. Now, often when a saw doesn't run right, where do people go? They go, oh, it's got an air leak. Now, this saw does not have an air leak, friends. For 2 reasons. One, it's brand new. Now, that doesn't mean anything. We've all put a seal in crooked. I know it doesn't have an air leak because the carburetor screws are such. I'm at about 1 and 1 right now, friends, okay? So right there, that tells me this saw don't have an air leak, because if this saw had an air leak at 1 and 1, a ported saw, it would have a massive air leak. Okay, so right there, rule that out. There's no air leak in this saw. Number 2, notice it was really smoky and really rich. That tells me right there that because it's really rich and boggy, like it's just over fueling, it seems, that it's not that. Number 2, okay, did I do something wrong with the carburetor? Now, if you had a saw that was really rich and it also wouldn't idle because it's spitting, see, it's wet here. I don't know if you guys could see that, okay? If it was idling and spitting fuel out of there, first place I'd go, metering lever in the carburetor. Take it apart, I bet you your metering lever's bent up. It's not doing that though, okay? So we can rule that out. First thing I'm gonna do, friends, I've been caught many a time. Look, unplug your kill switch, okay? Unplug your kill switch. I'm just gonna bring you guys back here. Unplug your kill switch and see if the saw changes. Now sometimes the switch grounds under vibration and sometimes the wire's touching, okay? Let's fire this thing back up. I don't know if you guys can see me here, but we'll just rock and roll. As long as you guys can see the saw. Okay, ready? Okay, so we know it's not that. Right there. Where would we go next? Well, let's set you guys back up here. I gotta get a new camera mount, friends. I actually broke my camera mount the other day and I keep forgetting to order a new one, but okay, so we know it's not that. And I know this wire's not broken underneath the recoil because I examined all this. Next, okay, well, that came out of there, but that's not a problem. Is your coil wire touching anywhere? Is it bare? Well, I noticed that this wire has a rub mark on it. It doesn't go through though, friends, okay? I actually stuck an O-meter in the end here when I was assembling this, off camera, of course. And I ran the end of the O-meter on both ends to see if there's any exposed wire. There's not. Okay, so it's not that. Next, spark plug. Friends, off camera, this is a brand new NGK spark plug. I put another brand new one in here. This is the second plug. It runs exactly the same. So it's not that. So what's left on this thing? Well, honestly, friends, I think the coil on this thing gave it up while it's been sitting. I know this saw ran. Before it was shipped to me, he sent me a video. Friends, I can't find my keys in the morning, but I can remember stuff like this. The fellow that sent this to me, good fella, he sent me a video of it running before he tore it down. Now, this was I can't remember the full story. I think this was a customer saw. It was a logging saw. As you guys can tell, this thing's an ugly duckling. It's not pretty at all. This is one of the ugliest saws that are on my shelf. Now, that's fine because it's going to be a good runner and I will use this thing a lot. I like bucking with a crazy overpowered saw because it's fast and I can get my work done fast. But anyways, before he tore this saw down, he sent me a video of it running. Now, I know right now, I have a feeling I'm missing a screw here or something. Also, I think the fuel tank on this is leaking a bit. Maybe the fuel line's leaking or it goes through. Just a little bit, not enough that I'm like super worried about it. So anyhow, friends, I know this is a running saw, but this thing went sour. And again, give these guys a check out. Ryan at Wolf Creek, wolfcreeksawshop.com. If you guys, you guys know me, I don't do sponsored videos or insert products everywhere. But, if you want to talk about people that have helped the channel, Ryan's been helping this channel for years with no strings attached. There's never been like you have to do this agreement with us or you can't show this. Friends, I just show it as I see it. If I have a problem with something, I'll show you. And I mean, Ryan will take care of you and he'll take care of me. I know this to be true. If somebody's bad news, you'll usually figure it out pretty quick. Ryan is not bad news. He's a good fella. And again, friends, once in a while you're gonna get a bad cylinder and I mean, if you've only ordered one cylinder and that's the bad one, you might think, that a certain brand is bad, but the amount of product that I've gotten over the years. Very rarely have I had bad cylinders. So, but anyways, friends, if you like what we do on the channel, check out Ryan at Wolf Creek Saw Shop, and give him some of your business. Doing that really, it helps this channel, friends. I'm very proud of what we've created here. We do our own thing, right? Sorry, friends, my camera fell over. What I was saying is, we don't get involved in the saw politics on this channel. We just do our own thing, right? This is fun. Just a fellow working in my shop, and I'm gonna keep it that way, or on my tailgate. Anyways, friends, there's really no way to know if this coil's no good. Okay, it's original coil. Let's see what we got here. I'm sure the end's good. It's just, it's like it's not advancing. So I went through my spares, and look at that. I have, this is a, what brand is this? It is a DZE coil, and this is from Wolf Creek. I've used quite a few of these. I haven't had any problems with any of them. This is a DZE coil from Wolf Creek Saw Shop. And fun fact, I didn't know this. This is actually the same coil as a 272. Okay. Now, they're slightly different, but they bolt up the same. So, and I mean, these are the same. So, I mean, I'm guessing they're the same coil. I guess we'll find out if they work. I don't know, friends. I don't know. I've never worked on my 394. I just run it. Now, one thing I am going to do is, again, took the clip off. It's fine. I'm going to take this. Sorry, friends. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to pull it over here, this coil. And again, friends, Ryan makes this stuff happen because I'm super rural. It takes forever to get parts. You guys notice sometimes I'll be like, I'm waiting for parts. Stuff that maybe Ryan can't get me, or, you know. Like our auction saws, I'm still waiting for parts, friends. I haven't forgotten about those. I am just literally waiting for parts. That's what happens when you live rural. Especially up here in rural Canada. Stuff can take 6 weeks, 8 weeks sometimes. Anyways, pull the boot through. I got a brand new clip here, or spark plug end. I already pre-poked a hole in this just in the interest of time, but poke a hole in there. Okay, and then pull this back through. And then take your end. Okay. Okay, make sure it's centered in there. Okay. Well, I hope this works. I'm really thinking it's a coil though, friends. The coil's still making spark, but it's not advancing is what I think is actually going on here. It's not often I get a Husqvarna with a bad coil or a steel. I mean, it's rare, right? It's rare for me to have a Husky or a steel with a bad coil, but it does happen. And it also happens where I put the screw in the wrong place. There you go. But let's see. Let's see what this thing's going to do here. Yeah. I'm going to fit this new coil. Sorry if I'm blocking you guys. I'm trying to do this speedy, but, you know, in real time. I know some of you guys like just talking and chatting and hanging out. I like hanging out too, guys. Life's too short. The camaraderie of being around good people. You know, good times. Most of my 20s were spent talking bikes with other bike enthusiasts. Friends, I don't know what's going on. I've been looking at Harleys again. I gotta stop that. Don't be surprised if you see a Harley on this channel one of these days. That was my everything for years. So all I did was wrench on bikes, build bikes, motors. I haven't been inside a Harley in 20 years though, friends. I wonder if I still remember. Still got a lot of my tools and that, but I actually worked at a Harley dealership when I was 21. And I wanted to be, my first career choice, friends, believe it or not, was I wanted to be a wanted to be a Harley Davidson technician. I was enrolled to go to school, or preparing to enroll, and then after working at a dealership for a very short time, I decided it wasn't for me. Oh well. I did well. I'm really glad I got into the trades. Okay. Again, just use a business card, any business card, and gap it. Okay. First things first, the shut-off wire. And again, this wire's mint. If you have any cracks or splits in your shut-off wire, you may want to change that. Oh, so that's a little bit different. Okay, I'm just gonna feed this wire through here. Okay, put this air deflector on. Now, it's kind of funny, as rough as this saw looks on the outside, and like, friends, believe me, this thing's rough. The case is broken on the front. Doesn't affect anything, but case is broken on the front. Plastic looks like this thing was dragged behind a truck. It's a logging saw, and that's generally how you see these 394s. 394s and 288s are generally the roughest looking saws when they come on my bench, because they've literally been logged to death. But the rest of this saw is in great shape. Like, everything's there, no problems with anything. What killed this saw was a cracked intake block for sure. 100%. I'm just gonna do up 2 screws here, friends, in the interest of time. 2 on the recoil should be fine. But this saw's been logged to death. But I mean, look, set of bearings, and this is where I like showing you guys this stuff, because just because you don't have a ton of money doesn't mean you can't have cool stuff. I remember even in my 20s, I could roll into any bike show with my chopper that I had. You know, a garage-built low-dollar chopper. Yes, I had a chrome frame, but a friend of a friend owned, or a brother-in-law of a guy I worked with owned a chrome shop and wanted to do a frame. So, but I mean, rattle can black. I had a built motor that I did, and I could go to any show anywhere and, you know, have people admiring my work, and it's like, and have a bike that's, you know, 4 times the price sitting next to it, and, you know, still hold my head up. And it's like, it's the same thing with saws, friends. And I mean, building bikes and building saws is totally different. You know, a saw is a tool. That's what it's for. It's not really for showing off to me. It's just something I do. I like performance chainsaws. I don't need them at all. But I mean, this is going to be a nasty saw if we can get it running for no money, friends. And yeah, this was donated to me, but I mean, I'm sure if you look around long enough, it might take you a year or 2. I'm sure you can find a 394 or 395 that's thoroughly blown up. And I mean, friends, look at this thing. Look at the plastic on it. It's missing clips, but it's like everything's there and it'll run. But I'm sure you can find one of these. Maybe you pay, I'm just going to do this one up. Maybe you pay $200 for it. But it's like, you know, you can order a piston. You know, if the cylinder's good, you order a piston, some bearings, some gaskets from Ryan at Wolf Creek, and you throw the saw together and you have a running saw. You know, put a carb kit in it. And, you know, you may have a $300-400 saw, but it's like, it's gonna be a gooder. What's a saw like this new, friends? What was a 395? I think a 395 here new was $1,600. Could have like 4 of these for that kind of money. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've never been to a chainsaw show. There's nobody around when I'm in the bush. Does it really matter what my saw looks like if it runs good? Anyhow. Okay, let's get this thing fired up and see, did it change? I didn't even check if it had spark, friends, because I'm pretty sure that this thing needs, my dog doesn't like this saw for some reason. Pretty sure that this thing needed a coil. Okay, ready? I'm gonna give this thing some choke. There we go. Well, friends, I'd say it's fixed. Let's see how this thing restarts. Really important to me that my saws restart easily. Okay, I want reliability. This is a work saw. I want to pull this thing over once when it's been fired. Pretty much, unless it's completely cooled down, it's been sitting for 45 minutes, an hour, whatever. I want my saws to start. Oh. Friends, big saw, pull it over like you mean it. Don't be noodle arming it for the YouTubes. I want my saws to start like this. There you guys go. Couple things compression wise. This saw has slightly less compression than my stock brand new shiny 394. Okay, so just so you guys get an idea of what I did here. I actually wanted less compression in this saw. Now, I know that goes against what a lot of other builders do, and that's okay, friends. 21 years of doing this all day. Sheet metal worker, duct work, putting my arms over my head 12, 14 hours a day, 5 days a week. I'm not embellishing. My shoulders are not what they used to be, number one. And number two, if you read most of the textbooks, friends, everybody talks about the two-stroke tuning books, all of them. The agreement is that compression hurts RPM in a two-stroke. So I've always been of the, less compression is more. Now that doesn't mean that this thing's easy to pull over. And again, friends, this saw has no time on it. These rings aren't even seated, but it's easy to start. Okay, and that's what I want. Okay, friends, so there you guys go. There is a bad coil on video. I didn't know that was going to fix it, but I was 99% sure. That's how a bad coil acts if it hasn't completely failed. So if you have a saw that's uber rich, you got no carburetor problems, and your screws aren't turned out way too far, and your metering lever is not jack sky high, and it'll idle and start, but it doesn't rev up, you probably have a coil that has some kind of an internal fault and it's not advancing, or it's got some kind of an issue. Make sure your wires are good. But if your saw runs like that, you probably need a coil, and it'll be safe to order one. Now again, because of the support I get from all you guys out there and Wolf Creek Saw Shop, I just happen to have a brand new coil on the shelf and popped it in. But like I said, I love showing you guys this thing because money doesn't grow on trees, and it's easy for me to say, oh, I'll just throw a brand new coil in there. But for you guys, if you don't have a coil, well, if you have to buy a coil, do you want to just shell out whatever, $50, $100 to maybe fix a saw? Because the whole point of these junk saw builds is saving money. If you have more money in the saw than you would just buying one, what's the point? So anyhow, friends, hopefully that helps some of you guys out there. Thanks for coming back to the channel, and stay tuned. I have an interesting video planned on why I time my intakes by duration. I want to show you guys something. And coming up, we are going to be building a pipe for this with the steel that's behind me. And also, I want to start digging into that 036 that I built. It's a good running saw. It really doesn't need anything. I may need to order a few parts for that, but that doesn't mean that we can't go in there and port it a little bit and just make a good firewood saw. And then we'll do what we do with it. Maybe we'll pass it on to one of you guys. How many saws does one guy need, friends? I'm getting to that point where it's like, how many saws does one guy need? Anyhow, thanks for watching. Take her easy, and hopefully that helps you guys out. See you in a couple days.